Alright, I had already done this once before, but what the hell, let's do it again, because I like doing things multiple times. These are my scat rockers. I don't know why I need to yell. The microphone on this is so good. I can just talk normally. Yeah, these are my scat rockers. If I can get the light to show them. There we go. Sort of. Anyway, they're 1.25. So they're very slight ratio rockers. I calced these out before, lined these up before. Sorry for my shoulder. Where I need 3 shims to get it where I want it. So let's see if I've got actually 3 shims. Man, this thing comes with a lot of shims. So 3 shims for each post. Seemed to get it so that the ball is right at the top of the valve stem. Don't mind me, I'm just making sure I'm putting all the same way. Again, stamped steel. Focus, you fuck. Come on now, there we go. Stamped steel. Round on one side, so this side's round. And this side has a lip and it's really sharp. You can kind of see it right there. So we'll get the round side up and the sharp side down. Because why the hell not? Alright, gotta line up the holes here. I'll go ahead and stick this in. So, these have been around forever. They have them for every car that needs, I don't know if you can, every car that needs a push rod. It's an adjustable push rod. It's made for dialing in the cut to length push rod. See, here's one, and you can see there. That head isn't in there because we cut that end. This head's already placed, and as you can see, it's significantly longer than it needs to be. But if I had a really big stroker, I may want that length, so that's why they come so long. So anyway, dial it in with one of these, and then you can cut this to fit. Now, one thing that kind of sucks about these is they aren't as strong as a proper push rod. So you're supposed to use setting springs. They're really, really thin. They look almost like ballpoint springs. They're really bad. But they don't give you a ton of resistance. They don't give you enough to bend one of these, that's for sure. But they still return the valve to the seat. These being single springs, they are heavy duty springs, but being single springs, I've been playing with this and hasn't been an issue. As long as you're very gentle when you're cranking it to make sure you're good. So I'm not too worried about it, but if you have any doubts, pick up one of those test springs and use it to calculate your push rod length. Downside to that is you have to keep taking the head off and going back and forth. You don't have to put the push rod tubes in when you do that. You can just save those for the very last, torque down. But still, if the springs aren't enough to bend it, you're good. So there it is, in place. And I'm gonna flip you over. I love these balls. Hear them rolling around in there. They have a flat spot, and that's where you should be looking. You should be setting it so the flat spot is against the valve stem. Yeah, let me see. I wonder if this will turn out. How does this look? Can you see Or does it just mess with the... I think it just messes with the camera, but I'm using a blue laser pointer. Let me see. So, the top of the valve stem, you want this flat spot. Yeah, this doesn't help. I figured it's worth a try. Anyway, flat spot, top of the valve stem. So you got to roll the balls around until you find the flat spot. Insert joke here about flour. Roll it around until you find the flat spot. There we go. Alright, so that's done. And make sure I can see all the way through those holes. We're good. You need to break loose. There we go. Let it in. Aha. Nope. Put your in there. There we go. You need to get down there. Let's get you to top dead center. You're at 90. Alright, come on. There we go. Top dead center. Beautiful. And flat spot. Alright. Flat spot. You moved. Come on, bitch. Get in there. Serious? Okay. You moved. There. Now you notice there's no push rods in the other ones because we're only need to do one. Of course, I will go ahead and double check it on the other head just to make sure. Yeah, I'll bop it around. We need the actual length isn't super critical when you're at the low RPMs that this thing's going to run at. I just need to get it in the ballpark. So, and you can see one of the things I'm trying to do here. Let's see if I can get you focused on that. Let's see how close I can get. Well, I guess that's it. I want you to focus here, damn it. Yeah, that's as much as I'm getting out of you. Try to move in just a bit. There we go. Now you can see it. So, what we want to get, this is the top of the stroke, right here. I need something to point with. That is too tiny. Alright, crappy screwdriver. Top of the stroke right here. Okay, see that? Because as it rocks, it'll sweep down. So we're at the top of the valve. We're also slightly off center because we want the valve to be able to rotate. And it'll sweep down, so when it pushes the valve, focus. Focus, you fuck. There. So, as it pushes the valve and it sweeps, like that, it'll spin the valve just slightly at every extension. This is a good thing. That keeps the valve seat clean and keeps it from getting a set piece of gunk that causes it to no longer seal. Alright, where are my... Since I already had this all together once before, I had nuts and bolts set aside, and now I've lost them. Oh my goodness, come on. Where are you hiding? Now these will do. This is just for setting the length, making sure I've got it right. I did all this once already, forgot to Forgot to record most of it, sadly. So I just need to crank it down. 12, 13. Crank it down just to make sure that I've got the valve stem or push rod length correct. Now I did, like I said, confirm that I've got the right location on the valve, but I did not confirm the length of the push rod. Now you're watching it. Watch it when it starts to open. There we go. Ah! Alright, I am going the wrong direction. Let's go in the right direction and let's use a socket on the pulley so I don't got to deal with this crap anymore. I'm tired of cutting up my hand using the flywheel. Actually, do I have one big enough for that? I have one big enough for the flywheel, right? No, I didn't think so. There we go. Oh, that's much better. Now let's get to where it's moving again. There. Yeah, beautiful thing. Okay. So that's at full extension, full lift. One thing you want to check, you can't see it here in this picture, but one thing you really want to look for is to make sure there's no binding in the spring. There should be a small gap between each coil, and there is, so we're good there. We like that. And oh, we're still a little bit high on the valve stem. Okay, I can take a shim or two out. Alright, let's take out a shim. Woo! Fewer shims, the better, I feel. We'll widen you out so you can see me work. There we go. Like I said, these are just temporary nuts. I could use these, but they're not necessary. I have better quality ones floating around. Let's try 2 shims. I mean, removing 2 shims. Thanks. That stayed pretty high up on that valve seat, or valve stem. And I want these with the openings at the top. And loosen up you. One thing that really irritates me about the adjustable valve trains is the having to tweak the width. I don't know if that's like common everywhere or what. Do they all do that? Oh, you're even higher now. Oh, that's a bummer. Let's see. There you go. Yeah, if anything, it's higher. I think that's probably too high. Yeah. Alright, we'll put those other shims back in. Okay, we're back. Just running it through a few cycles. just to make sure everything moves smoothly. Yeah, look at that. Wonderful. All right. So that's it. Easy peasy. Now all I need to do is double check that everything's correct on the other side, which I expect they will be, but you still check. And cut me some push rods. Really wish I had a metal chop saw. Something that would let me set up a jig and get them all exactly the same size. But I don't. So I'll have to use a Dremel with a cutoff bit. Yeah, apparently I got this exactly right. Okay. So what the hell is wrong with this thing not focusing all of a sudden? Whatever. You get the idea. See ya. I need a block of wood or something. Doesn't even have to be a block of wood, just need something to stick in there. Okay. Perfect, right there. Yeah? Does that work? Alright, so we're going to do the first run. Where's my safety squints? Can't do this without goggles. Oh well. I don't have my goggles, but this will work. Here we go. Alright, that's hot. Right, there we go. Sorry about that. But a nice clean cut. I'll hit it with a stone on the Dremel to smooth the edges. But yeah, I think that's going to work nicely. How much of this you can see. So a little bit of roughness around the edge. I think that's bad at all. And I've got this set up now so that I can repeat it and have them all be the exact same size. So the question is, I did give it a little bit more room because it's always better to come back and cut it a little more than it is to try to stretch it, but I think we got it right there. Yeah. I mean, you can't see, but I went on the outside to air in a better place. Yeah, we're good. Let me cut up. What do we got? 7 more here? Yep. 4 cylinders, 2 per cylinder. That makes 8. Here's 1. Need 7 more. So we'll do this again. And I won't make you listen to it all. We'll zip through a bunch of these, but I'll do one more like this. Have you zoomed in a little bit? I don't know how much you'll be able to see, but there we go. And then I'll do one from another angle because I think it's going to be pretty hard to see once I get down like that. We'll see. last time it's parked before I pull that engine and put the new one in. And the 1835 will not be using those carbs or this exhaust. All this goes back onto this engine after I rebuild it.